Carrying on the projects with urban scenes and buildings, I thought today I'd do a little bit of demonstration using charcoal. So it's very similar to what I've done before. So a very quick recap on what I've done so far. First week I talked a little bit about two-point perspective and just trying to encourage you to see, trying to identify where eye level would be within either a drawing or a photograph or a painting. And then once you've got an eye level, you can then see where vanishing points would be. And that really all the angles that you're drawing within all the horizontals that you're drawing within a building would all go back to a vanishing point. So the only place that horizontal things would appear horizontal is on your eye level. And then below, if you've seen two sides of things like a building or an object, below the eye level, you've got angles this way and above the eye level that way. So that's that first week. Last week, looking at street scenes, and that's one of the demos did. Really encouraging, if you're drawing a whole street scene, encouraging you to start in the distance and then work your way back and out, and just kind of see it more in terms of, rather than worry too much about vanishing points, just be aware that there will be lots of different angles, but really just encouraging you to look for shapes, so they come from the small shapes and then working out towards the big shapes. And this was using line and wash, so pen line and a bit of watercolour, or you could just use pens. So these are a couple of examples of pen drawings. So that's that. And then today, I thought I'd use charcoal, so I've got a couple of examples. This is one demonstration from earlier in the week, and this was a street scene that I drew many years ago in charcoal of Rayleigh High Street. I don't actually quite like charcoal, but I do find it like getting a bit of a mess, and then it's very delicate, and smudges everywhere. So, but I quite enjoyed just doing that. I've just done a little bit more about it now. So some of the things with charcoal, the basic kinds you've got. So there's really two different types. You've got the willow charcoal, what some people call vine charcoal, and that's really just like twigs that turn into charcoal. And then you've also got compressed charcoal, so these more regular sticks are compressed charcoal. So it's basically charcoal ground up and then all stuck together again. You can also get the compressed charcoal in the form of a pencil, so charcoal pencils. So sometimes you get little drawing sets, and you tend to get a little bit of all of that within them. So I've got plenty of charcoal here. It comes in different thicknesses. That was really thick scene painter's charcoal, right down to tiny little twigs that I break instantly. They're so fine. So that's the different types. In terms of the surfaces you draw on, it does make a bit of a difference. So this is a very smooth bit of printer paper, and it's quite nice if you want to just sort of sketch kind of light grey, so you get, that's probably about as dark as you'll get it going there. On a piece of paper with a bit more tooth, you can get a little bit darker. So that's the vine charcoal. The compressed charcoal actually goes even darker still, I find. I don't know if you can see, but to me it's just, there's a slight tonal difference. The difference, there's also a difference in terms of trying to get rid of it, rubbing it out. So the vine charcoal will come off very easily, whereas the compressed charcoal, if I do that, I've really got to work that to remove that. You can remove them a little bit with an eraser, so these sort of nice plastic erasers. This will get you back to almost like a pale grey. And then with the compressed charcoal, it will go, it will get back to a sort of, slightly darker tone of grey. So the way I tend to use charcoal is that I tend to just pretty much use the vine charcoal, and then the compressed charcoal I use for very dark areas, and perhaps picking out some shapes, picking out some details. The pencils are quite good for little bits of detail and that sort of thing. So this is a little bit of a random selection. I thought maybe I'd go with this one today. And I'm going to work it with one of the advantages of charcoal is that you can very quickly block in tonal areas. So whereas with a pencil, I've been working this for ages just to, just work these tonal areas in. So I'm just going to rub this out like that. And then there's a window, probably not going to be terribly accurate. So that can be the window. I'm drawing a little bit darker, and then I can lighten this up as I go. And then the bottom of the window, something like that. Where I want to keep things white, it's probably best if I just don't put any charcoal in this area. So inside of this window, we want to leave a white passage there. Otherwise, as soon as I start getting that dark, I'm going to get it light again. And try and sort of block that area, and then work a little bit into where the brickwork would be, sort of in here. If you needed to leave that a little bit wider, and then that can be the front face. I quite like these sort of dapple shadows here. I thought they were quite nice. So that's going back up that way. There's quite a bit more detail. I'm not going to worry about that. I'll just simplify this a little bit, I think, for the purposes of a demonstration. Yeah, so that can be that front face. Once I've got that in, I tend to, you can either work it in with your fingers, or you can use these paper blenders. These are quite good for just working in big areas if you want to keep your hands a bit cleaner. And then once you've got some charcoal on these, I found that you can also use these to draw with. So you could, if you've got some sort of nice kind of, draw some like hedges or nice organic shapes, that makes quite a nice drawing implement then. Put that in. So what I'm aiming for is a kind of mid-tone, and I can perhaps take a tiny bit off. So I like to get the charcoal into the grain of the paper, otherwise you're just left with this very textured, grainy look, which suits some things, but not everything. And then this bit here, I can blend that in as well, just leaving the frame. Where I've lost some of that, I'll try and remove that. So I've got these little mechanical rubbers are quite good for picking out little details. So hopefully I can get just lift some of that out. I think it might need another battery. Yeah, that's helped a bit. Yeah, the roof can go quite a bit darker. So the roof is still a bit lighter actually. Try and lift a little bit more off with my hands. And then again, this roof is quite nice and dark. Oops. Just whack some of that in quickly. And I think I'll just leave some gaps where the light's popping through. And we've got the trees coming through here. So probably treat that as one whole area to start with. So for me, it's always like a process of putting some darks on, then having to lighten it up a little bit by lifting some out. Something like that. Then some nice dark shadows under here. Again, sort of going this way. That I won't sort of try and complete it, but I just want to try and give you a range of different techniques really. What else can do? So yeah, rubbing it out, either the plastic rubbers you can use. So I can just take little bits out like that. So that works quite nicely. Sometimes I find using a brush is quite good just to lift some of it out to start with, so that so it's not too clogged. And you can go in and kind of pick out little details. Also these putty rubbers, you can sort of form those into a shape where you can just lift little tiny bits out. And then once that gets clogged, you just have to reshape it to get another area. And I found with this one, I could draw a little bit in with a white pencil. So it might be that I could, if I've got this reasonably clean to start with, I might be able to just brighten that up a little bit. But it's best to remove as much charcoal as you can, because you find it will just mix a grey in. So probably this is where things like the details on the window frame, that's where a pencil would be easier, just to get some nice kind of sharp definition lines. Sort of bring those down. Kind of intricate shapes in the windows there. So they're quite nice, but just adding a little bit of extra sort of definition, deepening shadows, that kind of thing. I'm not too worried about getting every brick in, but I might want to just make a few marks that suggests a little bit of texture. Bricks here and there, just one or two. I don't want too dominated, but you can just slightly break that up.
And how then do you stop it smudging?
Smudging. You can spray it with fixative or hairspray, something like that. I think I've got either hairspray or fixative in this. I can't remember. Could be hairspray. So yeah, you can kind of give them a spray. I find it's best to do it vertically, and if you've got it, I've got to bring the aerosol spray, but just kind of give it a coat, perhaps give it a couple of coats, let it dry, and then give it another couple of coats. They are really hard to sort of fix properly. One way you could, once you fix it, what you could do is like have another piece of paper here and just put some tape and almost like have a hinge, so that protects it, or probably greaseproof paper would be quite good for that, because it's not likely to pick up so much. It's like once you've done that and you put it in a drawer or sketchbook and it starts doing that, that's when it gets damaged. So if you can find some way of just protecting the surface, obviously ideally pop them in a frame and that sort of thing, but you can't frame everything. But yeah, that's one thing you can do. The other thing you can do is, if you wanted to, say you've got some, with a fixative, one idea that I have come across, which I've not used it a great deal, but you could use this. If you've got a layer of tone, and you want to, and you don't want to rub any more out, you could fix that at that stage, wait for that to dry, and then put some deeper tones over the top. So that can be quite a nice way of working, and sort of building it up in layers. There's probably quite a lot you could, if you don't mind getting your hands dirty, there's quite a lot you could experiment with charcoal.
Yeah, I just thought that if you wanted to, carry on home.
Yeah.
How do you transport it?
Yeah, I think that's what I do. Just I put a piece of paper over it. Yeah, just clamp it down. Yeah, that would be the best bet. Just put paper over the top. Yeah. I don't think I fixed that one, but I carried that one on from Tuesday a minute ago. So that would survive. Just turn it around or something like that. See? All good. Yeah. Okay. Great.